as you know, this is one of those days where it's a Tony Talks thing. So this guy's going to jump off. Good morning, everybody, and goodbye.
I too am going to jump off, but welcome to episode 202. I'm Jamal Smith, and see you guys in a little bit.
Good morning. This is Toni, and today I have the pleasure of having Katherine Peoples on with us. Katherine is from HPP Cares, which I will ask you, what does that exactly stand for? And I know that you were over at the Rebuild Center at the Eaton Fire Collaboratory. I actually met you in person that day, the night, 2 weeks ago, I think, when they opened. Jamal and Brian had met you out in the streets in the field before at different events. So glad that I finally caught up with you. I know we spoke once briefly on the phone and you were like, hey, I got to call you back. And I was like, okay. And then saw you over there. So I'm glad that I did. And we were able to finally connect and get you on the show. So Katherine, tell us a little bit about HPP Cares, what it is, what you do, a little bit about yourself, and we'll go from there.
Wonderful. So, and again, my apologies that I had to go. I was actually with a survivor when you called.
No apologies needed.
Doing the work.
When you said, I got to call you back, I was like, I understand. Not a big deal.
Definitely. So HPP Cares, it stands for Housing People Properly. The Cares is because we like the MBA. My brother helped me name it over 20 years ago. We did it in my kitchen.
This is your organization that you founded. This is my
organization. I am the founder, the lady in charge, as they would say. No pun intended. And I can't do the work without definitely paying homage to my team. My team helps to elevate me in this arena, as well as to ensure that we are getting to the survivors and making sure that they have a place to go to get real questions answered and meet them where they are. Just a little bit background on HPP Cares. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, IRS determined. We are a HUD-approved housing counseling agency with HUD-certified counselors. Our organization also has ADU specialists. Our latest claim to fame over the last 4 or 5 years was our organization gave out well over $100 million in ADU grants. How did that all work? Our organization was just in a place where we knew a lot about ADUs. What are ADUs? Accessory dwelling units. And in turn, our organization had the opportunity by way of the state to administer those grant funds. So over these last 4 or 5 years, we have really stepped into the construction space, the grant administration space, the managed construction escrow and draw space, and really see where individuals, participants in our program just needed help. How can you expect a homeowner to build? And so we fast forward to January 7th. There was no other place I'd rather be and need to be to ensure that we are a protective barrier for the survivors of Altadena. Grew up here, went to Alverno High School, lived off on a Vista Laguna Terrace, also had a house on St. James Place. Okay, so I'm a native of the community. I'm a Denian, okay? And so
you must have heard that I go hard on people about that.
Oh yeah, and that's perfectly fine. I like to leave it till last, but it's all good. I'm with family, right?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, there's so many people coming into our community, right? And it's like, who are you? Where are you from? What's the connection? So when I generally vet people or talk to them, and you and I again have been trying to connect and didn't really have the pre-conference, because I usually talk to people about 30, 45 minutes, an hour prior to bringing them on the show. But both Brian and Jamal and many others were like, you need her on the show. You need her on the show. And so I did do some research, but hadn't had a chance to really speak with you. But I go kind of hard because it's like, at the end of the day, we're bringing people on here. And when somebody is foul or doesn't do something that's for the community, guess who gets phone calls? Because I brought them on and interviewed. Then I get phone calls like, oh, well, Toni, that person you had on, da-da-da-da-da. And so my name is not going to be drugged through Altadena, Pasadena, San Gabriel Valley mud. And I do not want to put anyone in our community in a space that they're not being well taken care of. And instead, someone is doing something nefariously to them, right?
Exactly.
Don't want that at all. So yeah, I go hard. So I'm so happy to hear Vista Laguna Terrace. I know some people that probably Jennifer and Karen that lived over there, and Allison, the Mayos,
Right.
that lived over there. But I went to Alverno too. Obviously, we're different years. I did 2 years, and then I begged my parents, could I go back to Muir now?
Well,
Plus,
I was
the
so
best
going
grade.
crazy that they said, you got to stay, girlfriend. You got to stay.
Well, see, that was me 8th grade going into 9th grade. So they were like, we see what you're getting ready to do. You're not going to Muir, you're going to Alverno. And I was like, right. And I hated it. But then later I really started liking it. But I was like, okay, I'm going back. Plus, I wasn't getting the best grades for the money they were paying. And so they were like, yeah, we're not going to keep doing this. And I was like, can I go with my friends I grew up with? So we did. I went over to Muir and wound up graduating from Muir. But yes, don't you miss how we used to have the dances and
Yes.
in the building that, like, Alverno's still there, but nothing anymore because they're all down at LaSalle.
Yeah.
And it's a co-ed where LaSalle was just the boys' school. Them and St. Francis were our brothers' schools or whatever. But anyway,
Exactly.
we can talk about Alverno forever, but we won't. That's not why you're here today. So
Well, I will
to
pay
know that
homage to
you're
them though, and let them know that I was kicking and screaming with the fact that there weren't any boys at the school, but I tell you, it was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to me.
Yeah.
It helped shape me and set the foundation. It was an extension of what my mom did. And for many of you who know my mom, Miss Nikki, she was no joke. And so ensuring that I went to a school like Alverno made sure that, I can stand up in any situation, whether I'm in the neighborhood, whether I'm talking to billionaires and CEOs. Bottom line is I know how to eloquently handle myself and ensure that we are speaking to the audience intended. And so what better place to take on the fact that HPP cares, because that's what people say, so many folks.
Yep.
And it's just because I know how to speak to people and, not speak to them, but speak with them, look at them and have that conversation to ensure that we're all on the same page. I haven't spoken too fast, and I really take them through the educational steps to ensure whatever activity that they need it and exceed beyond it. And so that's just a little bit about HPP Cares. We about our business over here.
Yeah, and it's so needed. So somebody said this to me last week. I got a text, and all I got was this text with, I think, your HPP Cares. Like, you need to talk to this lady. She's the Black Habitat for Humanity. And I was like, Lord, I didn't want to compare you to that, because Habitat for Humanity is Habitat for Humanity, and they serve all people, right? HPP Cares is HPP Cares, and they serve all people. So you're doing similar things. Your focus is similar, but you're totally separate. So to me, I don't like comparing anybody to anybody, right? People say apples to oranges. Nope, not at all. So I just laughed. I saw the text and I just laughed. I didn't even respond, because I was like, yeah, she's already coming on next week, and we are not going to be comparing her to Habitat or anybody else or neighborhood housing or anybody. All of you have amazing things that you're doing. All of you have different missions and purposes and focuses. And so we're going to stick to what it is that HPP Cares has been called to do, and especially in our community, because we're from there and we want to give back to our community. So you know what, when we go November 4th, I'm gonna give you a shout out too, when we do our thank you at the Ebony Power 100, because for us, we're doing this for community. It's all about Dina. It's all about, for me, more Altadena. And I say that, and I try to always make sure people understand why I say that, is because I grew up there since 1968, right? Granted, my mom had me at Queen of Angels in LA, came home to a little apartment or duplex they were in on Pasadena Avenue down by the Rose Bowl. But that's not what I know and remember, right? Because when you move to somewhere at 2 years old, that's it. So I'm a true Dina person, being Pasadena and Altadena. But Altadena had more damage than Pasadena or Sierra Madre. Mm-hmm. It's great that those communities are kind of lumped in as Eaton Fire, but my focus is on my hometown, which is Altadena, because we had more damage than anyone else. And there are more people displaced and more African Americans and people of color that are displaced and potentially may not come back, which we don't want. We want everybody to come back, and we want everybody to rebuild regardless of your age. And then make sure that people have a trust and a succession plan, right? Because we need it to go generationally down, and we need to make sure that those deeds are within that trust, and, you know, everything is right so that we don't lose Altadenians, right? And especially the diversity of Altadena, which is all the different cultures. So even when it comes to that, how is HPP Cares helping people, like, overall? Is it you're targeting everything that you hear? Because I know you've heard a lot since the fire about people having grandma or great grandma's house, but the deed was still in the name. Are you able to help with that? Are you able to help people with, I heard you say, financial counseling? So, you know, making sure that they understand and they have a succession plan and understand what it is, because a lot of people have never heard that, right? And then help them with that. Help them tell us what it is that HPP Cares can do to make sure that those that really need to have these services and come back can.
Okay. So, you know, there's a lot of need. And so HPP Cares is going to be falling upon their HUD expertise, wherein we know how to do financial counseling, putting together emergency or survival budgets. So we will fall upon that expertise. But I'm going to tell you, there's many of us up here, nonprofit wise. Lori's here with NHSLA, and we've got CORE. We have all collectively come together to say, okay, who's going to do what? Because you can't do it all under this particular situation and be successful in it. So what you're going to see with HPP Cares is our organization has put together what is known as the Rebuild Center. We have put together also what is known as the Rebuild Experience Lab. And we want to hone in on really getting folks back into their homes and adding an ADU if we can. Okay. When you think of us, you think of, you know what, those folks are potentially the Black Habitat for Humanity. Okay. And it's just because we want to make sure that no family within the radius that you spoke to earlier is not touched, not have a safe place to come and ask the appropriate questions. We will take a one-off question where, hey, my house did not perish in the fire and I just need it re-energized. I send a text message to Southern California's point of contact. We get somebody out there. We send an electrician out there. We don't have our hand out for you. We simply are making the parts move. Okay. Awesome. I am big on testimonies. I like to make sure that you guys take a look at that and see that we do what we say we're going to do. Okay. Yeah. I'm such the CEO that I give out my cell phone number. And you say to yourself, wait a dang minute, wait a minute. She gives out her cell phone number. I give out my cell phone number because if somebody in my agency has dropped the ball, I want to know about it first. I don't want you to go to Toni Talks and say, hey, they didn't get back to me. You got my phone number. The other beauty is the phone number that we have, 562-281-8861, is a 24/7, 365 phone line to ask questions and get answers, real answers. Okay. I want you to come to our organization and say, hey, this has happened. I am now in the mindset to rebuild my home. What are the steps, Katherine, the Rebuild Center? And we will take you through every single step of the process. I don't care if you don't have any insurance. I want you to stay in this community, okay, and at least have a fighting chance, okay? Right. You say, well, Katherine, how are we going to figure this out? I am in the process of figuring out funding options and options for families to remain in the community without insurance, okay? Good. Now, because I'm a sister of color, you know, I've got an amazing pitch, but maybe it's not funded immediately, but we are working tirelessly to ensure that there is some aspects to help folks keep their homes here and not leave. But when you make that phone call and you say, I'm going to get an appointment with Katherine or the disaster rebuild case manager, that case manager is going to put a strategy together, an action plan. We're going to find out if you're insured, uninsured. We're going to find out if there was a mortgage. We're going to deal with the tax component of it. We're going to ask why there wasn't any insurance. We're going to find out, have you received any funding from FEMA and SBA, and why not? And why not? Yeah. Because you have to realize when the fire happened and both disaster resource centers stood up, we stood up. And I will tell you, being out at UCLA and getting the phone calls from my team at PCC, my mouth was on the floor. Wow. But it only further confirmed that this was a tale of two different cities, where services were at the largest magnitude in one location and were very sparingly in other locations.
Well, you know what? Let me just comment real quickly on that. We had this person fly in from Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And make all his big brouhaha about coming to California, which we don't never want him here. And our governor checked him nicely on the tarmac. And he went only there, right? Where his wealthy white friends are, right? For the most part. Mm-hmm. Did not come to Altadena. Didn't really care about the Eaton fire. The one thing that he said was, I'm going to do an executive order to tell them, clear this stuff immediately, right? And I will say, instead of the 18 months that they said it would take to clear Altadena, the 3-4 months, whatever. So he bullied them into that. And I'm thankful for that bullying, because that's the only bullying. He's a full bully, but that's the only good bullying he's ever done. So, but he went there. He didn't come here. Right. And yes, all the attention and his visit there and all of that made Palisades the difference. But even with it being a tale of two cities, when you look at the permits, when you go to the website, the county recovery website, mm-hmm. we have more permits than they do. They have more lots sold than we do. We're holding on better, thank God. And so though that person came and the attention was focused on the money, it's the Palisades overlooking the ocean, all of that, we're the ones that are holding it down much, much better, and will likely have more Altadenians come back than Palisades residents they're selling, and have more permits and builds going up right now. That still looks like a ghost town, and some of their stuff isn't even fully cleared. And so we know that there was also the thing of Palisades is within the city of LA, right? Which is in the county of Los Angeles. But us being unincorporated, we didn't have the extra hurdles of having city government and then county government. We just go straight to county. So boom, we had our supervisors working with our senators and this and that to say, we need this. And our governor to say, okay, we can have gas again, right? Maybe not wood burning fireplaces, but it doesn't have to be all electrical. We can now no longer have to have solar on the roofs. And the governor just signed that a few weeks ago. And so there's a lot that's been going on that for us in the county, even though we lost more than Palisades did also, the more attention and resources were sent there immediately. But to say that happened, they're not better off than we are right now. We're actually doing better than they are. So I'm super proud of that and to be an Altadenian. Earlier, Brian and Jamal, I think Brian was popping up a lot of the comments that were coming in. And so I was taking them down almost immediately because you were speaking and I didn't want to interrupt, but I am going to go on and start to bring them back up now, just so you can see them. And if there's any questions or comments you want to make to them, you can address them. So one of the first ones that came up said, HPP Cares sounds like an amazing organization providing necessities to the community.
Thank you.
Yeah, there was one that says, glad to have you on, Katherine.
Thank you.
Marcus Betts says, I was Stogieman 69. Marcus Betts says, good morning, ATP, which is Altadena Talks podcast family, and Toni Talks guest Katherine Peoples. And then there was this one that said, what does rebuild case management consist of? So I didn't want you to lose your train of thought as you were speaking and address this. So I pulled them down. So now it's back up. And if you could answer or address that would be fabulous.
Excellent. And it's a great question. So what I'd like for you to understand is rebuild case management is taking the knowledge of certified professionals like ourselves with no sales pitch and helping you through the rebuild process. There are 4 components that we look at. guiding you through every step of the recovery. That would be A to Z, from, soil remediation all the way through to certificate of occupancy. That would connect you with the appropriate resources and or vet those resources. So Contractors License Board does come here on a weekly basis. I insisted on that because of our relationship with the ADU background that I've already shared with you.
Nice.
Also providing and helping our survivors make informed decisions. I have had survivors come to me with architectural plan sets for $50,000. What is the architect doing? Okay. What is he doing? Are you building a skyscraper up there? Okay.
Yeah.
Helping them go through and navigate contracts simply with just our know-how and our HUSPA of making sure that we have the appropriate points in there. If you're working with a contractor or you're getting that contract together, you want to make sure you have a release of lien. Most folks don't know what that is. Some folks do. But when you do issue payment, you want to make sure you've got that release of lien built in and you have it signed off every time payment is released, so no one can come back and put a lien on your property.
On your property, right.
Folks know that people in Altadena, our people, we got equity in our property and we got to still protect it. Okay.
That's right.
So that is what some of the stuff that our rebuild case manager does. We are a little bit different than anything because we are and have been in the construction space. I've seen the bad actors. I've reported on the bad actors. We do also build. So you've got all of that culminating in one location where you've got one heck of a team that has coined ourselves as the rebuild case management, and with all of our certifications to do the work of getting you from A to Z. And Z would be certificate of occupancy back home.
That's good. That's awesome. The classic cash. Thank you for that question. I hope she answered your question. And even if you thought of something else while she was speaking, please put that in there and we'll have Katherine address it. The next one said, hi, I'm assuming Living Waters Ranches Design Build, you know them. I don't know, but if you do. And then they commented, absolutely, when you were saying, and if you lean you were saying that phone number right there behind me is my number. I'm a CEO that gives out her number, and they commented absolutely as you were speaking. Yes. So glad about that. And then Corey asked this, and I will just kind of comment on it as well. Corey, you said, are you helping renters buy properties? I have family members who would like to stay in Dena, but we're renting their homes. And I do know, Corey, that Lori with Neighborhood Housing Services is doing that. And if you have watched anything and know the Williams sisters, Ishelle Williams was renting 17 years. She is now in the process with Neighborhood Housing Services. They purchased the lot because her owner was really shady, told her she had like 10 days to be able to purchase the lot. And so Neighborhood Housing was able to purchase the lot. They're going to be doing the rebuild. And in this whole process, she is doing all the financial counseling because there's important financial responsibilities as a homeowner that you need to know that are other than paying the mortgage, right? To also tell you if you can really afford that mortgage and that being a homeowner. Like I just had my EV charger. I plugged it into my car yesterday and my car started beeping and I was smelling something and went back, unplugged it. Well, the person who put the NEMA outlet in my garage, I just found out this morning, used two different size wiring, 10 and 8. So it burned up on the inside. And thank God my garage didn't burn down or anything like that. And I have an electrician working on it this morning. But as a homeowner, I got to be able to afford those repairs and anything that happens, right? And so if you don't have a good sense of financial knowledge or stability or whatever, you think, oh, I just pay my mortgage and that's it. And it's not, because you're no longer going to say to a landlord, oh, my pipe broke. Oh, my toilet's overflowing or whatever. It's all on you. And so I do know, and I'll let you, of course, go more into detail, Katherine, but I do know because I was after the Fire Summit last month in Sonoma with Lori, and we had a good sit down and she talked to me about all of it. And so I have her slated to come on in a couple of weeks, but can you talk more about how HPP is doing in that arena as well, if you are helping people to buy and go through all that as well?
Definitely. And so as a HUD agency, we do have the capabilities of doing that. We are looking at some of our funding sides to come through our CDE, which is a community development entity.
Okay.
or also known as CDFI, which is Lori's group.
Now I heard the
And
CDFI.
so that is something that we will be standing up very soon. Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
It is in the works. Like I said, I really want folks to not say, well, HPP Cares is like an octopus. We know a little bit of everything, but I also know the importance of my wheelhouse in ensuring that these houses get built. Okay.
Well,
you have that place to come to and ask the questions.
Yeah. And like you said a few minutes ago, you're working with Lori, who already is a CDFI, is doing a lot of that work. And the third entity you said, I forgot. But you all have come together and said, okay, we're really strong in this area. This is our niche. We're really strong. This is our niche. So let's collaborate together, because this is about Altadena again, or Heat and Fire people. And so you handle this part, buying the lots, doing this, doing that, right? We'll handle this part, the financial counseling, the whatever, and the third person will handle this part, but we're doing it all in conjunction with one another, so that the whole person and the whole everything that they need is being met. And so that's what I really, really, really like.
Yes, exactly. And I must stress that you indicated NHSLA, we've got HPP Cares, we've got CORE, we've got the E202 Fire Collaboratory. These are places where survivors need to go to get information. Yeah. You are working with groups that are vetted, are certified, and don't have their hand out trying to take from you. Okay. We are trying to direct you to the most cost-effective way to remain in Altadena, period. Yeah. And that's what you're going to see. Okay. In a nutshell.
Super important. Super important. We can't stress that enough, because there's a lot of people, different ages, right? I know people in their 40s that lost everything, that were able to buy their first home and are like, oh, I had insurance, but I didn't know I need this extra. I may not be able to come back. And there's so much money. People don't even know. There is so much money out there that will help people in the term of grants or very low interest loans to be able to stay. That's why I keep telling people, don't sell. And even if you don't have the house anymore and you only have the land and never did a trust, it's time to put it in a trust.
Exactly.
Now, do your succession planning now.
Please.
Do your trust bank account now. Get that life insurance change from all of your children to the trust bank account is the beneficiary. Like, teaching people these things that, like, I know, right? And others, we need to know this for our community, because a lot of other communities know and have done it. That's why they have the generational wealth. This is how we can ensure we all come back and share the resources. Don't hoard them. Don't be like, oh, well, this is only for me to know. No, it's not, sis. That's for her to know and him to know and him to know, because we want to come back. I was at a meeting 2 nights ago and they were like, oh, we're worried that we'll drop to the levels of the 1960s for Black home ownership. I said, no, we won't. I said, that will only happen if we allow it and if we sell and if we stay ignorant and don't know. And I said this about having it in a trust, even if it's not your home right now, but your land. If it's about having, all this other stuff that I just talked about, and people were like, wait a minute, what is your name? Because I need to talk to you. I'm like, okay, right. We're going to bring people in to this brand new group that's forming to talk about this stuff. Were you in that meeting? Were you there 2 nights ago? Yes. Remember when I got ready to leave and a couple people were like, but that's the kind of stuff, Katherine, that we have to do. Yeah. Because remember, they said, we're not only going to host it, some of y'all are going to host it. And I was thinking to myself, I want to host the one that talks about the trust bank accounts. I already know which one I want to trust. So we'll have to collaborate on that. But those are the things that we have to share with our community and say, this is what you do. And this is how we make sure we don't leave. That we don't sell, and that everybody in your family is on the same page, because now that they're educated, this is how we can do it, right? Exactly. And that's super important. So the Classic Cash says, how is the gap funding going and what sorts of financing is available?
There is going to be various options for financing. There will be individuals that come to us that have, a $300,000 insurance policy. We will challenge that through putting together as Actimate and see if we can get that increased, make sure we can't pull out any other orifices of funding. through our rebuild component that we offer. But if there is nothing else there, then as a nonprofit, our organization gets discounts with the likes of all the vendors for building. So we will see if we can do a cost estimate to see if we can get the cost as low as possible and allow them to use our nonprofit component. And you say, well, is HPP Cares, because I always like to hit this immediately, is HPP Cares getting any kickbacks? No, we are not getting any kickbacks. Hence, that is why it's called the Rebuild Experience Lab. It is not a showroom. A showroom is a sales floor. The Experience Lab is for you to touch and feel and experience what you need to be preparing for through your rebuild process with your contractor. Other areas of funding, because there's folks that are just going to need 100% financing. We are working with the likes, and if any of y'all know Magic out there or Jeff Bezos, hit us up so we can get that funding into the fund that we're trying to raise in order to allow those to be loans that are offered at a no interest or a very nominal rate of interest that would allow to cover the front end of the rebuild cost. And we're allowing people to do like for like. If they want to do something a little custom, we also are offering that even if they are uninsured. So all the terms and things will be laid out, and they will not have any aspects of predatory activity for the simple fact that we're a HUD agency, we're a nonprofit. That's not what the intended purpose is. The intended purpose is to get money for that parcel and that survivor to get back home.
Yeah, thank you. And then that's the comment. That's great. There are a lot of people considering selling because they are short on rebuilding cash, which is why the classic cash that people need to go to the Rebuild Center and talk to Katherine. People need to talk to Lori from Neighborhood Housing Services, or CORE. You don't have to sell just because you're short on funding. And then there are tons of land banks, like what's her name, Jasmine Super, Green Line Housing, right?
Green Line Housing.
Right. Then there's Dina Hold, which is from Pastor John from my church. We now have the Legacy Land Project is exactly what it's called. Legacy Land Project, which is also a land bank. And then and if people don't understand land banks, I'll have Katherine explain that in just a minute. But then there's also the Pasadena, I forget the name exactly, but it's a Pasadena Land Bank, but that's not the name. I gotta figure it out real quick. And if you can put your name, but again, if you have it in a trust, that eliminates it going in a land bank, right? So I
want to hit something real quick with you with the trust. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know in working with my mom and even my mother-in-law, it was like pulling teeth to get it into trust, because we as folks, we think we losing control when we put, and you're not.
You're not. But
and
that's just like having a power of attorney over a older relative or parent. You do not lose control until you are incapable, mentally or whatever. When you're incapacitated and cannot, that's when the one who's the POA or the executors of the trust would step up. However, even if you have a trust, you can detail while you are still have capacity and in your right mind, you can spell it out exactly what you want. A, B, C, D, E, F, all the way to Z. I want this to happen, and it has to be honored even after someone's death. People think putting something in a trust is just, oh, now I'm in control. No, it's not. And that's why you also, if you have, even if you have one child, you can put whoever as executors, you can put that child and someone else, a power of attorney, an attorney or whatever, on there to make sure it's done right. If you have multiple children, this is what I say. Put your most responsible children, and not only one, co-share that executor. Do not just give one, because then sometimes people do feel like, oh, I got all the power, I'm in charge. No, you're not, because no decisions can be made unless everybody agrees. And we still got to go by what mama, daddy, auntie, or whoever put down. This is what they put. This is what was notarized before they got to the point where they could no longer make these decisions. And we have to follow that. And then if you want to modify or change a trust, say, whoever passes away, you still have to have agreement from all the co-executors. Right. And then an attorney has to say, yes, this is what it's going to be. And that is now in writing. So having a trust, having a power of attorney does not mean you lose control of anything. And yes, in our community, the African American community, we have gone from, we talked about this yesterday on Wellness Wednesday, the slavery mentality to crabs in a barrel, to, oh, I got it. I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to do this. Right. I think it's been 5 years since my parents did the trust, because I was talking to my dad about it one Sunday after church. I went over the house and he was like, what? And I said, it needs to go in a trust, it needs this, and needs that. And he said, my mother was in the kitchen. He said, Jackie, that's how he would call her sometimes. And she came in there. She was like, what, Al? You know, but again, they've been married 65 years. So how they talk to each other is hilarious. They're too cute. But she came in there and he said, Tonette is talking about a trust, we need to get started on this Monday. And so my mom's a researcher like me. She started doing the research, all that. It's now in a trust, right? The house structure got burned down, but the lot is there. Hoping that, you know, they make their decisions soon to rebuild. They were. Then they got with somebody that told them a length of time and an amount that it does not cost.
Not make sense.
Right. I think it paralyzed them with fear. And so recently mom was like, well, we haven't made our decision yet. I was like, okay, cool. We're back to that instead of we're not rebuilding. Right. So, but it's super important. And if somebody has the knowledge, like you do, like I do, like many others do, we need to make sure we have rooms filled to capacity with our people, where we're saying, this is the process. You do not lose control. This is what has to happen, should happen. And now is the perfect time while they're doing the rebuild and all of that, and they still have the lot. So I'm glad you brought that up, because whether it's a trust or a power of attorney situation, people get scared and think, oh, they're going to just decide. And no, legally, that is not going to happen and can't happen. So I'm glad you brought it up.
You hit on it. You hit on a couple things. It has been flabbergasting to see what people are being quoted. Millions of dollars to rebuild their homes. $1.5 million, $2 million. It don't take that. Stop it. And it's and I grew up here, because it's always, it's $1 million on the dotted line, signed right here. Oh, and I grew up here. And then when you ask, well, what school did you go to? They're like, not too sure. So I definitely want to speak to the audience on that, because folks are coming in. There's a question on here that says, where are we located? You don't have to come to us. We have all the technology in the world. We got multi-languages up in here. You let us know when you schedule that appointment. Hey, I'm not here. I'm in Georgia. I went back to North Carolina. Great. We can get a Zoom call going, or we can just talk it up on the phone. Okay.
Yep.
I like to see my survivors, look them dead in the eye, make sure we've got a recording of that conversation so you can keep it for your archives. And so that's just how real I am.
I'm going to say, look them alive in the eye, because we speak those things as though they are, right? Yes. So we are survivors who are going to thrive and be well alive to rebuild and relive in these houses, instead of saying dead in the eye. I know what you meant.
I know.
And I'm not correcting you. I am just trying to make sure my speech, and that's why I thought about that, is better, because we literally, what we speak can come to pass, right? Exactly. And so that's why I just said that. And let me tell you guys something about Katherine. She's the only one, and I'm emailing people constantly, that has this beautiful best regards signature that says, and it literally goes in cursive. When you get it, it says best regards. It writes out. So I need to know how to do that, because I want that signature. But so I just say that to confirm. She can meet with you anywhere. She got a signature, this bomb, this writes out best regards. And every time you send me something, I'm like, I got to ask her. I want to be able to do that with my signature. But she can definitely, doesn't matter where you are, meet with you. You know, we have StreamYard like we're on now. There's Zoom, there's Teams, there's Google Meets, there's anything. And don't be afraid to reach out and think, well, I'm not there, because a lot of people are displaced and have moved with family in other cities and other states even. So that should not be a hindrance.
And there's no rush here. And I want our survivors that are listening to know there's no rush. This isn't a race. Okay. This is when you're ready. Okay.
I think the part that makes people rushed or feel rushed, and tell me if I'm right, because you're with people daily, is this 2 years of ALE. And so when I hear people say, well, I only have 24 months, I say, no. I said, that's what the insurance has to give you is a minimum of 24 months. If you need an additional 12 months to have 36 months, that's baked into your policy as well. And it's a state regulation. So don't think, oh, I got to hurry up because in 24 months, my LE runs out. I'm just going to be, no. Mm-hmm. Make sure you know your policy well and talk to people that know this so they can tell you. Because when I say it, they go, oh, I didn't know. And I'm like, and I'm not an expert at all by any means, but I've learned so much over the last 10 months having these podcasts, having people on that I'm like, no, that's not true.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't go for the okie doke, please.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Please. And that person that charged $70,000, I'd love to see that contract if possible. CSLB.
But that's just for the plans. That's crazy.
Okay.
Because you know what that reminds me of? What is that famous architect, the Black architect that built up Baldwin Hills and so many, you know who I'm thinking about. Anyway, he built so much of LA. So his grandson has his plans that are available. But baby, when I met him and he said, I asked, well, how much are the plans? I'm thinking, $7,000 or $10,000 for the actual plans, which is a lot of mid-century modern. He was like 400. I said 400 what? A square foot. I was like, you're a lie. In my own brain, right? Because 1,000 square foot house, you telling me for the plans for the house, then I got to rebuild it, or $400,000 for the plans?
Please, and so I beg you. I beg the survivors watching this pod, please do not let your neighbors. Okay, because I know everybody's talking with their village captains and things that night. Please do not let people pull the trigger on things like that. No. And if you're nervous or you're intimidated, just come here. I will make the phone call and I'll make sure Contractors License Board is sitting right next to me on the call. Hello. And that'll stop all of these shenanigans. Yeah. Okay. The situation had happened where the family on that one street paid $33,000, not one time, multiple times.
Well, really? They did, and their neighbor did, and it's like, wait a minute, y'all didn't even vet them and check the CSLB. You didn't check because everybody that's come on here, Catherine, that's a builder, before I bring them on, I have checked the CSLB to make sure that license is theirs. Because we've had people say, "Oh, we're Black owned," but the actual owner of the license is a Korean man down in Fullerton. No, you're not Black owned. Don't be in the community talking about I'm from here, I'm Black, we're Black owned. No, you're not. Stop lying to people. And then on the CSLB, you can see their bond and see if they have that 25 minimum, but what it actually is. And then I also ask people, I need your insurance company and how much your insurance is. And then I contact both the bond company and the insurance company, find out if it's real deal for them before somebody can come on this show.
Because you can come be a rebuild case manager because that's how gangster we are.
I will.
They go. It's that girl from HPP Cares calling again.
They're gonna be like that daggone Toni and Katherine, but I will come and help because that's how important our town is. That's how important this community is to us, that people that have some kind of knowledge, or I'm a vetter, I'm just going like, nope, sorry. I'm looking on everything, all your Facebooks, your IGs, your LinkedIns. I'm going to find what I can on you. And when I see that what you're telling me does not match up, I'm sorry, you're not coming on this show. Right.
That's why I say that $70,000 contract, just make sure it kind of makes its way to me just so I can do what I have to do, because you shared it with us, but how many people have signed it? And how can we address getting that handled? There's ways to work on that. Okay.
And then the fact that you have all the connections because you've been in this game 17 years, you know all these people, you could pick up and call whoever from the CSLB or whatever right now. Yeah. And like you said, have them sitting right next to you. I don't.
The board regent, literally. Exactly. I can make the phone call right this minute.
So and like you are a wealth. You are a gold mine, you and Lori, because y'all are a wealth of knowledge, information, and have contacts that can make sure that people are not being taken advantage of. And that's what we have to have in the community. And then you're from here, so that's even better. So Jamal says, when do you review architect plans? I'm sorry, when you do architecture plans that are high, how often do the homeowners stay with that architect?
They don't stay at all.
Yeah, once they get blown out and see that that's not the truth.
And then the architect will cancel the contract in many instances because I brought in the Contractors License Board. And it's not to, flex, because that's not what I'm about. I'm just letting you know, don't get played. Okay. Right. Reasonably price set plans based off of your lot size will depend, but they definitely are not in the upwards of $40,000 or $70,000 point blank period.
I have a question. Are there any situations you've encountered where the architect actually modifies their fees down to a reasonable level, and then, the people move forward, or do they just try to disappear and crawl under a rock because they got caught?
The handful have tried to disappear. One, in fact, modified their plan set and was like, hey, is this going any further? And I said, no, but you just need to make sure your wheelhouse is correct and let everybody else know.
Wow, they asked if it's going any further, so they knew they were wrong.
Yeah, they knew they were
wrong.
That's
funny. All right, cool. Thank you.
So Corey chimed in again on this one. I think it's interesting. She says, there are some contractors that are trying to get them to hurry up and sign contracts and make them feel like they have to do it now, or they will have to pay more, or insurance won't pay. So the reason I say that that's interesting is because that's what we talked about at the beginning. Hold on, don't sell. There had been panic selling in the beginning, and people were like, "Oh my God, they're gonna buy up Altadena. They're gonna gentrify. They're not gonna buy up Altadena if Altadena doesn't sell."
Exactly.
And because they can't force you to. They could try to forge a deed and all that kind of stuff, but they cannot force you to sell. If you don't immediately think, "Oh my God, all I can do is sell," before you find out about HPP Cares and all these others. Like I've talked about Habitat for Humanity. I talked about the Mennonites, who will build your home for free if you need to, and you don't have to pay that back because of programs, right? Right. But take your time, learn about what's out there. Because I met with the head of the Mennonites, and he told me, "Toni, I'll build your parents' house for X amount of dollars." And I was like, "What?" Right. He was like, he said, what's the square footage? I said 1680, in case they don't have enough or whatever, right? And he said, "I'll do it for this." And I was like, "Yep, that's unheard of."
And right? that's where you all need to start.
Exactly.
Okay, Habitat is at capacity, because I know I just got a call. "Hey, Habitat's at capacity. Can we help? Can you help us?" Yes. Get to one of us. Yes. Because all of us are talking, and we are raising capital so that our list can get worked. That's right. You can get in. Okay. That's right. Do not go for, hurry. Nope. Talk to us first.
Talk to people first.
Via Zoom, phone, anything. Yep. Get on the phone with us. Okay.
Y'all, I might be working with Katherine before you know it over there. So people have my phone number from the show anyway, and I get texts and calls all the time. But if I do go over there and begin to work with them, and I will, as a case manager or whatever, I absolutely will. It might be me that you're talking to in the future, and I'm like, "Hold up, Katherine, what is this? On this situation." But the fact is, don't go into this blind and ignorant, and not saying ignorant like you're an ignorant person. Ignorance simply means lack of knowledge, right? Exactly. And so don't go into anything like a contract, a builder, whatever, without having vetted or someone vetting them for you and then showing you, "Here's the license. I've checked it." Because I also go on the Secretary of State's website all the time to just look up businesses to see if the business is in good standing, if they have their license, if they've paid, if they've done their statement. There's a lot of things to have a business in California that you have to do. If you're not paying your tax stuff, all that, the state will be like, "Not in good standing," and take you and suspend you. And a lot of people don't understand. It's at their disposal. We walk around with many computers all day. They could do it. Right. But if you don't know where or how to do it, I'll do it. Right. Because I was just at the meeting the other night, I was sitting next to Elise, and she said, "Hey, I got a call. This guy's talking about bringing in or introducing potato construction to people. And I don't know if potato is valid or this and that." And I said, "Hold up, let me find out." And from my phone, I looked it up, and then I screenshot it and I sent her, "They are active. This is how long they've been in business. They're in good standing." And she was like, "Oh, okay." Where other people had told her, "They don't even have a license." Yes, they do. And I went on the CSLB and looked at their stuff. Go on.
I want to tell you one thing. As my families are moving through this process, and you hit a key point. Today is October 23rd. You looked up potato construction. Mm-hmm. I want you to know that when you issue your checks to that contractor, make sure you look to see if the license is still in good standing.
Valid then. Absolutely.
Nobody is going to call you and say, girl, so-and-so is working on your project and they done stole all the money.
Yep.
Okay. So, and I talk real because I talk real. Okay.
Absolutely.
Because I have seen some things happen in San Diego and Northern California where there was an organization on one day. And
right.
if people had checked, they would have seen it. There are a lot of contractors that get complaints, but maybe necessarily it's not reflective on contractors' license board. So when you have us vet it for you, we not only do that, but I call the investigative unit.
Yep.
That part.
Good job.
And I say, hey, I'm trying to go with so-and-so. Okay. What do you think? And the investigative unit will say, well, there is a complaint or two, but it's an administrative complaint, not a criminal complaint. So that's the type of chutzpah niche. That's why when we started this conversation, you said, well, Katherine, can you do all this? No, because I'm busy over here making sure everybody with the construction side is rolling accordingly. Point blank.
That is so my area, because so if you get bogged down and say, Toni, I need help in this area.
Not a problem.
Number one, I'm a researcher. Number two, I used to be in law enforcement. So I'm used to investigative stuff, right? I was in law enforcement like 9 years, right? When I was in the Air Force, when I got out, all that. So I love that kind of stuff where some people would be like, oh, that's boring. No, let me investigate. Let me call people. Let me look up this. Let me look up that. So when I tell you for real, if you need me at any point, you can bring me in, train me on Toni, this how we do this, this, and this. These are contacts, da-da-da-da-da. I could sit from home and do it. You could text me, whatever, like, okay, I'm passing these to you. I'm going to send you an email. I will for real do it because that's what I'm going to hold you to it. Oh, baby, everybody on here can hold me to it. That is who I am, and I thrive off that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So when they say, like, Toni does all the vetting for the show, for when I bring people, I really do, because I try to make sure that nobody is hurt, harmed, or taken advantage of. We cannot afford that, because then if you lose out and lose some money that you did have, then you potentially could have to sell or whatever. And we don't want that.
No,
we don't want that.
We are under such a microscope right now. And I just can't stress that, just as Black folks in general in Altadena. And I want to hit on something, because you hit on a piece that, you know, certain things are happening in Pali versus here. You know, we as folks of color, we know how to hang in there. You know, we get knocked down on Monday, but on Tuesday we get up, adjust our crown or our, you know, our suit tie, and we keep it pushing. And that's where Altadena is going to hold on and be strong through this process. And now they've got me, CORE, they've got NHSLA here standing strong. There's no excuse why, if we are helping to lead you through this, we can't go wrong. Period. Yeah. We can't go wrong. We can't go wrong.
And then it's amazing how many times, like, so I've worked in tech for years, right? I am on a contract with Adobe right now, but I was permanent with a company for a long time, and that job went away like 2 years ago, September, right? Because all the layoffs happen, all this stuff. They, you know, downsize all that. When I tell you, and I've told Brian and Jamal this, I cannot buy a job right now. When I tell you I have interviews out the yin yang, I get contacted daily. I put in applications in my field in tech, right? As a senior systems admin, all this. And and have interviews like 5, 6, 7, you know, in tech, you have a lot of interviews. When I told them a month ago, y'all, I can't buy a job. Like, if I tried right now, I can't buy a job.
Yeah.
And I feel like this. That's because that's not where God needs me right now. Right. I've done that because also since January, my whole life has changed. I never thought I'd be on a podcast. I never thought I'd be meeting all the people that I am and doing what I am and being asked to come and sit in this meeting and that meeting and do things. And I'm like, all right, good. If I were in a full-time tech job right now, even though I work remote or whatever, I would not have the ability and the time to do what I'm doing. And God has not failed me. He's still providing, right? But it's just so amazing to me, like, all this happened at the same time when I'm really trying to find a job and can't. And I'm just like, okay, God, I'm not even going to trip anymore, right?
Exactly.
So I have been connected to people like you and Lori and all kinds of people and put in rooms that I never imagined I'd be in. And I don't know the future and what that's going to entail and whether I'll come and work with you or Lori or anybody or what I'm going to do. But I'm here for it and I'm going to keep doing it because it is, again, about our community. So Corey said that's the gangster we need, LOL. And then Jamal said, or Stogie Man, which Jamal says, how often do you reconvene with the similar groups to assess how things are going and or make necessary adjustments to each group's respective focus?
Beautiful question. We have meetings at the EFC or the Eaton Fire Collaboratory. We are based at 540 West Woodbury, right across the street from Jackson and down the street from McDonald's, which we don't need to be there, but it's okay. Everybody needs a Coke and a fry sometime. And so we are here.
Green juice.
Please make sure, though, if you do come and the door is locked because it's such a large space, just give us a call. I'll have a phone number at the front, 562-281-8861. We reconvene in these meetings pretty much on a weekly basis to make sure that all of our groups are aligning accordingly. Nobody's misstepped and everybody's doing the assignment they need to. Okay. But when you leave this podcast or this listen for today, I want you to know that HPP Cares is the Rebuild Center. There are going to be other organizations that are popping up. CORE is going to open up the Rebuild Hub in a couple days. We are partnered with them. Hence, you see the partnership. The larger organizations are coming together to make sure you know that this is the line to protect everyone. And bottom line is we are here to make sure we are in position and adjust. We've got contractors in place to answer just questions if there's things that we don't know, but not a sales component. We've got insurance people to speak and answer questions, and we've got the legal piece here. So all components are covered between CORE and HPP Cares and NHSLA.
Good. Awesome. Thank you. And I know specifically about how often do you reconvene. I know that you guys have and you said this in the beginning, I think like a weekly, you guys meet and update, but you're there, right? But you're there at EFC and able to collaborate consistently, daily.
Constantly. And not only is the Rebuild Center at the EFC or the Eaton Fire Collaboratory, there's mental health services, there's a donation or a store where you can come in and pick up items from Michelle's White's group, neighborhood servants. So you've got a lot of people here. And best believe, if you come to me and we don't know the answer, I'm going to say, here's my cell phone number. We going to touch base, and we touch base when I tell you to. I don't just shut down at 5 o'clock. I'm talking to folks 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night because I got to get you the answer. So I make sure that that's completed for the day. And that's what you're going to get here is you're going to get, she's following up. Wait a minute. They trip out when I call. They're like, wait a minute. This is Katherine. It's Katherine. This is what I need to tell you. Because that's what this means to me. And your name and the integrity and ethics is just key with everything that I do as an organization. And I don't stand for anything less.
And you know what's amazing to me, or I'll say kind of funny, I mentioned this the other day, is that, again, us speaking what we should speak. This time last year, probably November-ish, maybe December at the latest, I was like, oh, God. All my friends be having even my daughters, right? My kids, schedules, calendars, like they're using their phone and girl, let's go to eat. Oh, let me check my calendar. And I'm like, check your calendar. Well, my schedule, this and that. A year ago or less than a year ago, I said verbally, God, I don't even have a schedule and a calendar. Not necessarily that I was complaining, right? But I was like, I even said this. I said, Lord, am I even walking in my purpose right now? Because I'm not busy like a lot of people are.
Preach.
I want to go like this.
Exactly.
Shut up, girl, shut up. Because today, and I do use now my calendar all the time.
Exactly.
And I have meetings. I got to go somewhere at 2:15. Then I have something else.
Exactly.
And so watch what you speak because it can change instantly. I didn't know that this fire would be the change of my whole life, but I'm grateful for where I am today. And And yes, all of us have these schedules and calendars. We're up early. We're in bed late. We're getting texts throughout the day or calls or whatever. But right, Corey, God says, say less. I got you. You want a calendar? You want a schedule? I got you.
I got you. I got you. You want to be that builder, building all that done.
I got you, right. Oh, you investigator? I'm gonna link you with this person. You gonna help them with this and that. I got you. So yeah, it's so funny though that we gotta watch our mouths and what we say, because again, I wasn't necessarily complaining, but I was just like, dang, everybody I know is like, oh, let me check my calendar, let me check my schedule. And I was like, I don't have that. And now I do. Lori is buffering. I mean, not Lori, I'm sorry. Katherine is buffering right now, which you all see. Because, we go through our technical difficulties. It is 11. You all know that she and I obviously could talk for another hour about all this. But when she comes back, I will ask her if there's anything else that she definitely feels like she needs to get across to anyone watching. And if there are any words that she wants to depart with, I try to keep it at an hour so that people can go and do what they have to do in their schedules, their busy schedules. And then Jamal will come on and we'll do announcements for a few minutes and then we'll wrap up. I don't know if she's going to come right back or not. Maybe I should bring Jamal in to do the announcements. Looks like she dropped off. I'm sure she'll click back in. Can you share a little bit about the home building guidebook and how it's utilized? Oh, is that on the website, Jamal? Yeah. Can you bring the website up? You're on mute.
No.
Hold on, let me up.
I've just been on the website for a minute and just going over a few things.
Yeah, when we're waiting on her to pop back in, maybe we can, yes, Laura, Corey, productive, not busy, bring up the website and we can go over some things that we can see and also show anybody who's watching the website. And then as she's able to get back on, if she is.
So this is the actual website itself. However, and I think this is what she was kind of referring to a little earlier when we were talking. If you go, where was it? Oh, shoot. HB Cares, where was it? There was a section where they were talking about, oh, here we go. Recovery and rebuild. This is probably where you're going to really want to go if you're trying to take advantage of their services. It's basically hppcares/recovery.org. And this is where you can, they talk about what it is. They talk about support for uninsured families, gap funding or gap financing for those that are underinsured, support for those who have full service, schedule the appointment with the disaster building rebuild case manager. They talk about the different steps. And I did get that particular document from here. I'll scroll back up to the top of the page when I finish here. But yeah, it's a wealth of information, and it's really, really cool that she came on and shared. And I didn't realize that all the other organizations were working together and trying not to overlap in too many different areas. But it sounds like they're getting stuff covered, and a lot of people that are really about the business of helping people in this community and protect them from predatory practices and all kind of different things, and get them back in their homes, like she did say. Was that Brian? Oh,
that's Brian. I guess he was out too.
Oh, she's back.
Katherine is back too. Although it says device not connected, so she'll pop in as soon as she can.
But this is where I got the guidebook. So up here at the top of this particular page under guidebooks, first one is the homeowner rebuild guidebook. They have several others as well. Oh, she's back on. Here we go.
Jay's about that. I'm a real nonprofit with real issues. No, I am, I'll just be frankly honest with the survivors, because I just tell all my business. We're here at the EFC, Eaton Fire Collaboratory, which was the old JPL building. And so the sockets in the back room where we are, I thought they had checked them and they didn't. So I saw the battery going, but we were having such an amazing conversation that I couldn't stop talking. So I definitely want to apologize to our viewing audience with regards to that, but I'm all good.
Oh, cool. So StogieMan69 had the question about if you could share a bit about the home building guidebook and how it's utilized.
Definitely. So, and I'm actually in the showroom, so I wanted you to see
Sure.
a part of our showroom. I know the glare is here, so I'll kind of move us around a little bit on what you're kind of seeing, not showroom, the experience lab, excuse me. The guidebook is just kind of the step-by-steps from everything that you need to know through the rebuild process. It talks about the lien release. It talks about not counting squares, because a lot of contractors like to talk to you in squares before they give you a contract. It gives you samples of a contract. It talks to you about insurances. It talks about vetting folks. It's a myriad of things that our guidebooks cover. The ones that we gave out during the time we were at the disaster center, we talked about making sure you are talking with your insurance company and asking the appropriate questions. We're going to give you everything you need to know from a nonprofit side and then on the for-profit arena, because contractors get shook when they hear homeowners say, I need to release the lien. I'm not paying you until I get a release of lien. And they go, well, who told you that? And they're all, HPP Cares told me that. Just that in a nutshell will shake the average contractor, because a homeowner or survivor is not supposed to know those particular details. I'm going to give you stuff that will have people shook, okay, and not give you anything that would be shady or get you in a jam. Because you're going to choose the contractors you go with. You just need to do it carefully, cautiously careful, as my granny used to say.
I love it. Hey, I'm curious, just on a personal level, how much knowledge have you gained from where you started, or from once the fire started, in terms of your construction, rebuild knowledge? Toni has spoken many a times about how much knowledge she's gained.
Oh my God.
So how about you? Did you have a lot of knowledge beforehand?
I had a good foundation of knowledge.
Okay.
Just the amount of information I've learned with dealing with Southern California Edison and these underground lines, some of the legal components that are associated with the settlement in itself, that has been very educational. Trying to get folks back with insurance that lost the house and didn't have any insurance. We've learned a ton. I tell you, it's college of life, and we've been through it.
Yeah, that's awesome. You mentioned something real important to a lot of folks, and that's Southern California Edison and the undergrounding of the lines. What's your take on that? I know that there was a meeting recently to discuss that yesterday. What are you seeing? What are you telling folks about that?
I'm going to speak very gingerly on that. There was a call last night. There was some information that was shared.
That was shared.
She'll be back.
Yep.
Okay.
There it is. That was shared. We heard you say that was shared.
That was shared. Okay. And see how it all glitched?
Exactly.
Yeah, they're watching us.
Let me just do a little bit more research so I can speak intelligently regarding that topic. I was taken back by some information that was shared. So more to come. Fair?
Definitely fair.
Absolutely fair.
I feel like they're full of crap when it comes to that subject, because they had ample opportunity, prime time, immediately after the fire to go and do grounding, right? Underground. But instead, within a week, they were cutting down dang near all the trees in Altadena and putting up poles. And so that's my opinion, right? And my thoughts on it are, really? And now you want to do this and say it's going to cost homeowners X amount of dollars per lot, yada, 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 yada. And you just raise rates October 1st. Get out of here, Edison, with the shenanigans, because you know that's what you're on. So those are my thoughts on it. But we will wait to hear from you, bring you back on. Come on. And when you're gingerly speaking about it.
and sourcing whatever grant program that I heard as well. So more details to come on all of that. I do want the viewing audience to know, because I know I glitched out and I wanted to make sure you knew this. So you saw a website called therebuildcenter.org. We have captured that domain name. My website person was not able to cut it over. So if you do need to find us, you go to hppcares.org. And it'll take you to all the locations and things you need to know on our website. It'll also show you all the projects that we've built through the ADU program, houses, and different things that we've just done as an organization. So you kind of can see kind of our metrics and survey of the work that we've done, not only in Los Angeles County, Long Beach, but we are literally doing it throughout the state. One other thing is many people know us to be located in Long Beach. We still have our headquarters location there until June, but we've moved all operations to Altadena. So we can be found at 540 West Woodbury, the core of us. And then we've also partnered with CORE at 233 North Lake. So you've got those two safe places to find me running around doing something for one of our survivors.
Wow, that's awesome. We definitely appreciate all that effort and concern, because like you said, you're of the area, and it's like you're helping your backyard or your community, and that's very appreciative.
Yeah.
Or we're very appreciative.
Well, it just means a lot to me, because it's rather insulting when I do see folks stand up in large forums and say they grew up here, and I'm like, you sure about that?
Absolutely. I'm glad you finally got on, because I know that you had communicated with me, and we had been sharing with Toni, like she had indicated. We've just kind of missing. So I'm glad you came on. Very powerful message that you're sharing, and you're very knowledgeable and know how to articulate that, which I think is probably the most important part of it, because a lot of people find that the topics being discussed right now and having to maneuver through this particular process is very challenging to understand, because it's not something they've done before, right? So if you can break it down in very simplistic, not necessarily simplistic, but understandable ways, and it sounds like you're able to do that as well as with your case management team. It's very, very, big salute to you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And anyway,
I gave everybody a taste of Katherine back when I was up at the Rotary thing, and Mark said, "This is a lady you need to talk to." And so I said, "Okay, let's step over here." And that's how I do it. I get to the point. Right. So you guys got a little taste of what she was talking about back in June. But now you got the real skinny. You got the appetizer back then. Now you got the 5 course.
Yeah. And if you can't get by here to the Experience Lab or the Resource Center, call our office. We'll set up a call with you. You can request to speak with me. And just know that, I'm hovering over all of my rebuild case managers, making sure that they are articulating what needs to happen, because they should be an extension of what you're seeing right here.
How many case managers do you have?
Well, we have 25. Some are here, some are at Lake, and then we've got the rest of the team, because the Woodbury location, can only accommodate some. So we kind of rotate around so everyone will get to know folks.
Is that your ideal number, or are you trying to increase that number of case managers?
So the Rebuild Center, there's a place called, that we're not associated with the Rebuild Center in Portland. That's why I want to be very clear. When you look for us, you're going to go to hppcares.org. He's going to be turning on the rebuildcenter.org's website here very soon, probably as soon as I get off this call and I can say, hey. But the best way to get a hold of us is the 562-281-8861 number. 562-281-8861. It has live service that's answered 365 days of the year, and it's 24/7.
Sweet. Now, this is a unique question. Is there anything that we could do better in your opinion, to help the community with our show format, and maybe even some of the topics that we provide?
No, just keep doing what you've been doing. You guys are doing an amazing job. I know Toni, she is the investigator of all investigators. I know you do an amazing job of getting out in the community. Just keep doing what you're doing. And I can't emphasize, make sure you guys make donations to the group here, because they are top notch. Chef's kiss.
Man, there's our donation ticker going across the bottom.
Because that's how we all can keep our doors open. Okay? Definitely.
So do you have any plans for any events or anything coming up soon?
We are going to be doing some educational workshops here to go over the various types of materials that are here, the fire hardening materials. We're going to have Home Depot wants to come out and do a build day. If you're a part of a corporation and you guys want to do some volunteer hours, you can come and help us put cabinets together. The list goes on and on. There's going to be opportunities for volunteering, opportunities just in general. And we're here to educate and be that resource for folks.
That's awesome. Well, I know we definitely went over the hours time that Toni had allotted for you. I'm sure you're very busy, Katherine.
Yeah, I apologize, the background and the
no,
electricity.
This is real life. I mean, this is not studio. This is actual reality.
Yeah, this is the reality of it. Here, I want to show you. So I'll show you because Angela's Bricks is here to show you that they have color bricks for the rebuild. Wave Ty, that's one of my lead outside guys. Ty, wave your hand because they can see you. Right there, you have the shutters that are fire resistant. We have sprinkling information and various other components that are here. So if you can't get by, let's do a Zoom call and chop it up.
That sounds good.
I'll be by there at 2. I got an appointment to be up there at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, I was going to suggest maybe we either, broadcast from down there, or Brian just go down there and do a live and just talk to some of the folks down there, and we can, transmit it, on our show.
Most certainly.
Really cool. Well, we'll give you your day back. Thank you so much for coming on board. Hopefully you'll come back and give us some updates on how things are going with you. And everybody, this is Katherine Peoples from HPP Cares. Again, if you want to reach out to her and get some assistance, it's 562-281-8861. And Katherine, thank you so much for joining us today.
It was an honor.
Again.
Thank you again.
In the immortal words of James Earl Jones, this is HPP.
Thank you so much, Katherine. All right, awesome. All right, so I'll go ahead and do the announcements. I think they just finally popped up. There's gonna be a lot, like I've told you guys earlier this week. There's a lot going on Saturday, so I'm gonna just jump into it. Oh, cool. So as we know, we have the Altadena Community Center providing some assistance to those folks who are in the first stages of recovery. This is actually located at 730 East Altadena Drive in Altadena. Sorry, I'm going to remove this banner just for now. And they are available Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4:30. There's a QR code if you want to know who all is actually going to physically be there, because FEMA stopped showing up on the at the end of the day on October 17th. So you can definitely see who else is actually there that can assist you. We have the LA County One-Stop Permit Center at 464 West Woodbury Road, Suite 210. They have walk-in hours Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30. You can also set up a rebuild consultation appointment, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., as well as Saturdays from 8 a.m. to noon. You also have the ability to set up a Southern California Edison planning planner appointment Mondays and Wednesdays, 8 a.m. to noon. You would actually have to go to the website recovery.lacounty.gov/rebuilding/1-stop-permit-centers. Scroll all the way to the bottom for the Altadena section, and there's a red button that says schedule appointment. Then we have Altadena or LA County is waiving the refund permit fees for homeowners rebuilding after the Eaton and Palisades fires. Basically, if you've already paid your fees, you can have them refunded. If you've yet to pay the fees, you can have them waived. To qualify, however, you must demonstrate that you both owned and lived in your property prior to the 7th of January. In addition, you got to make sure you're working on an eligible project, such as a replacement single-family home, which had been destroyed by the Eaton or Palisades fire. And that does include accessory structures like garages, ADUs, pools, and etc. It does also include ADUs for temporary occupancy during rebuilding. What's not eligible are commercial, rental, multifamily, or temporary housing projects. Also properties that are not damaged by the fire. Now, how to apply for your fee waiver or refund, you would just scan the QR code, or you would go to recovery.lacounty.gov/fee-waivers-and-refunds. You would complete the online form and either include it in an email going to recovery@planning.lacounty.gov, or print up a copy and walk it into one of the offices. And thank goodness you only need one, for all the departments. We also still have CalAssist Mortgage Fund that is operating now, providing 3 months of mortgage payments assistance up to a maximum of $20,000. You don't have to repay this, and it's free to apply. And if you do get the grant, the money is paid directly to your mortgage servicer. Should you decide to apply, please be prepared to provide your mortgage statement, homeowner's insurance or FEMA claim, your proof of income, bank statements, as well as utility bills. And you do have to make sure that your residence was destroyed or considered uninhabitable due to either of the fires in Eaton or Palisades, or any other qualified disaster between the dates of January 1st of 2023 and January 8th of 2025. You also must have owned and occupied your home, and it can have up to 4 units on the property, as well as meet the combined income limits of $140,700. Now, to actually apply, you want to go to the website calassistmortgagefund.org, and they are providing telephone assistance Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 800-501-0019. You can also get in-person assistance by going to either the One Stop Rebuild Center at 1828 Sawtell Boulevard in LA, or going to 730 East Altadena Drive in Altadena, which is the Altadena Community Center. This in-person help is available 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and it's provided by Neighborhood Housing Services. Now we get into all the stuff that's happening. So the LA County Department of Mental Health is providing free support classes. The particular topic is dealing with disaster, how to cope and thrive. This is happening now through the 29th of November, except on Veterans Day and Thanksgiving Day. The location is Loma Alta Park, which is 3330 North Lincoln Avenue in Altadena, and it takes place 3 days a week, on Tuesdays from 5 to 6:30 p.m., and then Thursdays and Saturdays from 12 to 1:30 p.m. If you'd like additional information, you can contact Michelle Majors at 626-430-2930. Oops. And then we have Home of King and Queens event schedule. They have something coming up next Monday. It'll be the Healing and Recovery, Bingo and Burgers, Family Fun and Resources. It'll take place at Fair Oaks Burger at 2560 North Fair Oaks Avenue in Altadena from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. If you'd like additional information, please reach out to homekings13@gmail.com. And then the Altadena Library District is also presenting something from the LA County Department of Mental Health. It's mental wellness workshops for older adults. They have a session on grief and loss happening today. Well, it happened today at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. There'll be another one on the 6th of November discussing holiday blues at the same time. And then on the 4th of December, there'll be one discussing how you can discover your passion. It'll take place at the Bob Lucas Library, which is located at 2659 Lincoln Avenue in Altadena. And there will be an Altadena Town Hall meeting where you can understand the Wildfire Recovery Compensation Fund. It'll be, this is happening later. I'm going to skip this one. Sorry about that. This is happening next month. I'll cover this in a short while, in a couple weeks. There's another event, a night of conversation and healing. Special guest attorney Nathan Mack of Justice for 626. It's happening today. It'll be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Second Baptist Church at 925 South Shamrock Avenue in Monrovia. There will be open Q&A at this event, and dinner will be provided. Also
Do you have to
today,
RSVP for that, or just show
it didn't
up?
say. It didn't say. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you do have to RSVP by scanning the QR code. Thank you, B. I don't know how I overlooked that one. That was silly. Thank you.
Hold
So
on for
Dina,
a second. Take it back. I want to scan it real quick. Sorry. All right, got it.
Brian definitely checks these things out for us. Thank you. Thank you. Glad it worked. Dina Heals has the men's healing circle happening today at 6 p.m., ending at 9 p.m. It's at the Paseo Outdoor Mall, 300 East Colorado Boulevard, Suite 151 in Pasadena. To RSVP, they do ask that you go to bit.ly/D as in Dina, H as in Heels, /sacred, -sacred -lessons. Nice guy. And then Sacred Heart Church is actually having a trick or trunk game and movie night. It is this Friday from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Say bring your friends and family. It is located at 2889 North Lincoln Avenue in Altadena. So this will be a nice event for you to go to. One of, I'm sure, many trunk or treats happening over the next week or two. And then Friday, of course, tomorrow we have the Free Farmers Market. It's from 5 to 6:30. This is put on by Together We Thrive at 3541 Brandon Street in Pasadena. Definitely get there early because it could end early. They're only available until supplies last, and oftentimes they are stuff is scooped up rather quickly. Then we have Dina Nights, another Dina Nights, where there will be games, food, vibes, arts, and community. It's going to be this Friday. Sounds provided by Mr. Energy. It'll go from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. It's at Harambe, which is 1609 Navarro Avenue in Pasadena. So definitely check this out. I didn't see anything for RSVPing, so definitely check. It looks like you can just go.
Party, Dina Nights.
Mm-hmm. Little heat wave. Mm-hmm.
Those Dina Nights are always the best in town.
There's a virtual workshop addressing funding gaps for rebuilds. It'll be this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's the LA County Recoverers, the LA County Department Authority, Altadena Rebuilds, Back Foundation, and Neighborhood Housing Services. It's a key part of every rebuild. It's understanding the total cost and securing any additional financing needed. This workshop will review the cost for each phase of a typical project, identify possible funding sources, and explain how to evaluate options to cover any gaps. To register, please scan the QR code that is on the screen. And then Dina Heals, Music Changes Lives presents Heal Dina. It's going to take place at the Metropolitan Baptist Church at 2283 Fair Oaks Avenue in Altadena, beginning at 10:30 a.m. until supplies last. It is this Saturday. Join us. This is their monthly distribution that's held every fourth Saturday, providing hygiene products, clothes, shoes, resources, and much, much more to the community affected by the Eaton fires. So definitely check that out early in the day at Metropolitan Baptist Church. And then later that day, they're actually having a Family and Friends Harvest Fest. It's going to take place from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. There'll be fun jumpers, food vendors, games, and much more. And this, again, is hosted by Metropolitan Baptist Church. Again, the address is 2283 North Fair Oaks Avenue in Altadena. This is the short film showcase that Toni had shared yesterday. It does take place Saturday, October 25th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's at the Writers Guild Theater, which is 135 South Dehone Drive in Beverly Hills. They do have a QR code that's currently covered by our comments, but we will have this. I know I shared it to the group, so you can actually check that out there. And they have the different admission prices. There's another fall festival happening at Victory Park on Saturday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. There'll be costume contests, carnival rides, live entertainment, free food, and much, much more. One of many events that are happening Saturday, so you got some choices for what you're going to do on Saturday. There is going to be a walk to freedom, community circles, activities, and speakers. Join us all for a walk of freedom, Pasadena's Community Day of Action to bring people together, standing against hate, rebuilding and build belonging. It takes place on Saturday beginning at 8:30 a.m. at 175 North Euclid Avenue in Pasadena. The schedule is to meet at day one for coffee at 8:30, the walk to freedom or stay for activities at 9:30, and a closing ceremony at City Hall at 11 a.m. To learn more, you can scan the QR code or go to bit.ly/Pasadena-UAH. And then there'll be Helping Hands and Changing Lives, 35th Annual Making a Difference. It'll be Saturday, October 25th from 8 a.m. to noon. Join them as they help neighbors with home improvements, landscaping, city beautification, food sorting, and much, much more. They'll provide lunch and snacks to the volunteers, and you can also get an event t-shirt. It's going to take place at Liberty Park, which is at 321 South Myrtle Avenue, and you can scan the QR code to register, or you can call 626-256-8187 for more information. And Hope Now Community Resource Center and Sisters Coming Together in the Community are providing a senior health fair, which will take place Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 1800 North Lake Avenue in Pasadena. Join them for a day dedicated to health, wellness, and community, and enjoy a complimentary taco. If you have some questions, you can actually give a call to 626-817-3910. And then on Sunday, there'll be a fall family festival. It'll be from 3:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. with safe and fun for the whole family. It's going to be at Harvest Rock Church, which is located at 131 South St. John Avenue in Pasadena. There'll be free tacos for the first 250 people there, free raffle tickets for iPads, gift cards, and bicycles. There'll be games and much, much more. And this is the thing we talked about yesterday or a couple days ago. Hands in the Soil, holding space. It'll be tea, prayer for Altadena, music meditation, and land offering ceremony. It's taking place at the Arlington Garden in Pasadena on Sunday beginning at 12 p.m. It is free with the RSVP. You can go to handsinthesoil.com or scan the QR code to actually register. And lastly, but not leastly, we have our event. I'm going to put up the other QR code in the upper left-hand corner. This is the Altadena Talks Foundation presents a Day of Thanks Community Luncheon. It is taking place Saturday, November 22nd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. It'll be at Loma Alta Park's Gymnasium, which is located at 3330 North Lincoln Avenue in Altadena. It is available to all Altadena residents whose home was destroyed or is actually uninhabitable due to smoke damage. We do ask that you provide proof when you register, so be prepared for that. Please scan either of the QR codes that you see on the screen right now, or you can go to the website altadenatalks.org/ATF meal sign up. And we definitely look forward to having you come and participate in this event. We're excited to host it and hope that a lot of people actually come. We had over 100 people last count. Not sure where we stand now, but we are going to continue to promote. And again, just look forward to having you come out to a nice free meal and ability to collaborate with the community.
So Toni just sent a couple of more in our WhatsApp. One of them that I would like to bring to our attention is the PTA hosted restaurant night for Eugene Field Elementary School.
So Jamal, can you bring all those up and the ones that are today through Saturday announced? Because I just got those from that lady Diane. She just texted them to me.
Yep. Hold on.
Thanks, Brian, for seeing those and mentioning it right away. Because I was like, oh, he's in the announcements and these just came in and they're like starting. Did you go to field, Brian?
Yes.
Oh, that's your alma mater. No wonder you saw that one and were like, hey.
Yeah, that was my favorite school. I mean, all my friends I have today, I met at that school, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade.
She sent me like 10 things, so I just started forwarding them to our WhatsApp. So
this
that
one is
not to the 6th, but there's some others that are definitely happening today. I think tomorrow. That's the 5th, and yeah, that's the one that he's talking about.
Go ahead, B.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be a Panda Express fundraiser to benefit Field School. One of my beginnings of my life when I first came out here. 20% of the event sales will be donated, and it's tonight from 4 to 8:30. So I definitely will go to that.
It's funny. It says 4 to 8 at the top, and then at 4 to 8:30 at the bottom. But make sure you go to that particular Panda Express. It's the one in Hastings Ranch, the 3867 East Foothill Boulevard in Pasadena. They are very specific about locations. It's not that you can go to any Panda Express. You do have to go to that particular one.
And make sure you take a picture of this flyer and bring it with you, because if you don't order it on the app without the code, if you do order on the app, the code is 3843021 in the fundraiser code box. But if you don't want to go through all that, just take a picture of this flyer or screenshot it and put it on your phone, and you'll be able to show them at the counter.
Yeah, and they're really good with helping out with that. And I've had several fundraisers I've participated with at that particular facility. And this is Gallery at the End of the World. It's at 869 East Mariposa Street in Altadena. It's open call to artists affected by the Eden Fire. Gate OTW will be reopening following the format of the original Underground Art Society, a member-based salon study or style community gallery. If you or someone you know was directly affected by the Eden Fire and would like to exhibit, please come to one of the open calls. Bring a physical sampling of your work to show them and sign up. The only requirement they have or ask is that you live or lived in Altadena or the surrounding neighborhoods. So the open call dates are the 23rd today, the 25th, which would be Saturday, then the 27th and 29th, which would be, Tuesday and Thursday of next week, as well as November 1st.
I think that's Monday and Wednesday.
That's Monday and Wednesday. And that would be from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. And if you're unable to make those dates, they will be accepting applications once they open November 29th. Is there anything else? Yeah. Actually, yeah, I had this one. I put this on our community page. Well, again, in terms of making announcements, it didn't really. Well, anyway, so they have a vintage camera free community event show on Saturday from 12 to 3 p.m. at the main library at 600 East Mariposa Street in Altadena. It's at the community room. So you're invited to become a part of the history of photography. Altadena Photographers analog photo exhibit. It's vintage camera installation, tintype demonstration, vintage photography presentation. So it's vintage cameras will be offered to those who register. Wow. With Altadena Photographers.
Dope.
Very interesting. Let's see what else we have.
There are a couple more.
Free groceries.
Yeah. So free groceries Saturday from 12 to 3 p.m. It'll be at WOW Enrichment Center, which is at 4016 West Slauson Avenue in LA. You do have to sign up by scanning the QR code. What's that?
I said, wow.
Wow. They say join us on Saturday to find out more about local resources. We will have groceries, diapers, and information about other ways to help your family beyond just food. First come, first serve, or sign up for guaranteed bag of free grocery items. Very cool. And then Altadena bike ride for community, ride for recovery, Sunday, October 26th, 9 a.m. free Teams can ride to fundraise for Lotus wildfire programs. You can go to lotusrisingla.org for more information.
Yeah, I don't know where that is or whatever, but they're a LA organization, so it might be out there. But go to that website and maybe, if you like riding and it's for the community recovery and all that, go for it.
Precisely.
Didn't they do one to the beach a while ago?
They may have.
I think they started at that Good Neighbor bar, then rode to Eagle Rock, and then from Eagle Rock to the beach or something like that a few months ago.
Skip that one, Jamal. Go to the next one because that one's not until next week.
All right. Stroller and luggage distribution event Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 2150 Glen Rose Avenue in Altadena. These are the folks that were providing the air purifiers on a regular basis. They do ask that you please bring your valid ID or proof of Altadena address. This is provided by Frontline Relief Foundation.
Yep.
I'll cover that one later.
Well, it's for later, the event, but if you go back, they're hiring now. So if anybody is looking for a job that wants to be part of this Enchanted Forest thing that happens at Santa Anita Park from November 16th to December 28th, you can scan the QR code to apply because they are looking for event staff, brand ambassadors, character actors, a build team to literally do the construction of it, event support staff, photographers, and event coordinators. So yes, this talks about, that event happening, but this is really a flyer for anyone who's looking for work in any of those areas right now. Or go to enchantchristmas.com. You call it the world's largest Christmas maze. We'll see. I think it's at the Arboretum or something. It was last year. Oh, no, you don't have to go back.
It was at Altadena Park, I think it is.
Oh, Santa Anita Park. Sorry.
Santa Anita Park, yeah.
Yeah, at the actual park itself.
So this next one, I'm sure I'll share again, but this is taking place on November 13th. I'll read it. Bill Bagdina, Stress Resilience Mastermind, facilitated by Expert Effect. Bill Bagdina is excited to partner with them to provide the complimentary mastermind experience for small business owners affected by the fires. It's going to take place at the Eaton Fire Collaboratory Boardroom, which is 540 West Woodbury Road in Altadena. It'll be Thursday, the 13th of November from 7 to 8:30. It's free for Eaton Fire small business owners. You can register by going to billbagdina.com/mastermind or scanning the QR code. And I'll do these again closer to the event as well. And that was the last one.
That's good. That's for businesses. So that's really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just got to save all those. Cool. Well,
thanks for pulling those up.
Certainly. Well, again, that was a really good show. Katherine is a wealth of information and a powerhouse with defending the community. And as I had indicated to her before, she's very articulate in terms of sharing and explaining how things work. I think folks who are working with her and her team are probably, and the other nonprofits that are doing similar work are very happy that they have somebody in their corner really advocating for them.
Yeah, it's important. Super important for the community. And sorry, I had to drop, I had that electrical thing. So the electrician was like, I'm done. I had to go see what he needed to tell me.
Sure.
Huh?
You had to make sure as well.
Sure and I had to pay him. And then he was like, he cleaned my charger up and sandpapered what could have burnt all the way and plugged it in, and it's working fine. He was like, oh, it says bring your car. So I pulled in a little and plugged it in, and it's like this now. It's charging really fast. So I'm like, oh, cool. So I'm happy that he was able to come. I just called him yesterday. So
good.
Anywho, this was good stuff today. I really enjoyed speaking with her and having her on. So looking forward to working with her in the future and bringing her back on. We've emailed each other a couple times already. So I told her, I'm sure we'll bring you back on in the future and have updates and all kinds of stuff. But the wealth of knowledge that she and Lori Gay have is just incredible. Lori Gay is Neighborhood Housing Services LA. and I have her coming on soon. And I also have, I think his name is Steve. I got to go look. I got to get the card out of my car. But he's Habitat for Humanity's senior director, who I met Saturday.
Oh, nice.
So I got to email him today because I'm going to have him come on too to talk about not only that build that's starting, but like she said, they've called and said, hey, we're at capacity. He told me the other day they're going to try to do 40 homes. And if they have everybody lined up already, that's a blessing, because we know that that's 40 homeowners that thought that they couldn't come back that are going to be able to come back and get their homes rebuilt by Habitat. One of the things that I love with them, and I'm sure this will happen throughout Altadena, and I've been advocating for it from the beginning, is the fact that you can go on site and help rebuild, right? And it's under the direction of like the H4H foreman and all of that.
Aren't you required to as well?
I'm sorry?
Aren't you required to?
Well, the homeowners are required to put in.
Oh, I thought that's who you were referring to.
No, I'm talking about anybody. You could go on an H4H rebuild.
Oh, okay. I understand what you mean now.
I've done a few. Mm-hmm. So, hey, Postfire LA, is that Io? Hi, Io. Him and Patty. But definitely, like, anybody can go do a rebuild with Habitat for Humanity or on any site. As long as you go there and you get whatever training they need you to have, you'll probably have to sign a waiver, release liability, things like that. And they'll make sure you have the right boots or shoes on, and then hard hats. But the fact that you can go on and participate in helping someone build or rebuild a home is excellent. But yes, with Habitat for Humanity, homeowners are required to put in a certain amount of sweat equity time in the building or the rebuilding of their homes. So if you've never done them, definitely San Gabriel Valley. Well, when I bring him on, he'll tell how people can do it, but we're the San Gabriel Valley H4H. Look them up and say you want to volunteer. And it's so rewarding to participate and be there for people. So definitely, if you can, do that once in your life and see how amazing that is. Well, what am I getting ready to say?
I was saying I got nothing else. What you got? Anything for you, B?
I got nothing.
Got nothing. All right. Well, we're going to say peace.
Toodles.
Tomorrow's Friday. Tune in and we will see you then. Peace.
Have a great Thursday.